All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to today's life-changing experience. I want to appreciate you for joining in. And if you are, a first-time visitor to this channel, I want to welcome you on board because this is a channel where we learn and grow together. So welcome on board once again. And if you are a returning subscriber, I give you kudos for joining in again because this evening's broadcast is going to be a very, very interesting one, and it cut across all spheres. And no matter who you are, no matter where you are from, this actually has something to do with you. It's just a pity that a large number of us, we take lightly some of the things that we should hold in high esteem. Have you ever considered why in this dispensation we are more connected than ever? We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have LinkedIn, we have WhatsApp, we have even so many social media platforms that you know not about. And yet, people still feel so lonely. Have you ever considered why the rate at which people slide into, depression and eventually commit suicide? Have you ever considered why it's on the high side in this dispensation, despite the fact that we are more connected than ever? It is simply because we don't take into cognizance what we should take into cognizance. We give attention to those things that are mundane and take lightly those things that are very germane that we should take, with all kinds of seriousness. And that's why, I don't know, I brought this your way today so that this can actually change the way you live. A large number of us, when we talk about emotional intelligence or we talk about emotional quotient, as the case may be, we feel like it is just about you and yourself alone. But I tell you, it is more than just yourself alone. Personally, I've been doing some development on myself. I always want to learn and know more about things that, keep unraveling each and every day. If you're that kind of person that you feel you know it all, or you feel you have got to that stage where you have little or nothing to learn, then I tell you, when you start, having that kind of mindset, then you start dying. Any day you stop learning, you start dying. So you need to unlearn sometimes and also relearn so that you can accommodate some new concepts that keeps unraveling each and every day. This is technology dispensation, and I know that every day new things are actually coming on board. So if you're that kind of person that you are not open to knowledge, I want to appeal to you that from this moment onward, you should unwind everything that you have so that you can accommodate new concepts. So without wasting too much of your time, let's just dive quickly into what we have for today. And I want to also crave your indulgence. Please share this, the link to this video, share it with your friends and your family, because this is something that everybody needs to hear about. And one of those things that I will start with is recently I got enrolled in a particular course, and they were talking about certain things that has to do with mind. How you can develop your mind, how you can train your mind, how you can become a better person. And one of the concepts that was mentioned that I learned personally, and I'm very sure that if you can also imbibe some of these concepts, it will actually, be a saving grace for a lot of us. We understand that there are certain people that you have things that you bottle up. One of the major reasons, research has shown that one of the major reasons why people anticipate suicide is because they have been bottling up so many things that they feel they cannot share. They have just been piling them up and bottling those things up. And eventually, when you bottle things up to a certain extent, a time will come that the person will slide into depression gradually. And once you get to the extreme, of depression, and you get to that phase where you can no longer handle those things, that's why suicidal thoughts start coming in. There are a lot of symptoms that you see before you know that this person or you yourself, that you are heading towards this particular. It's just because you have not taken account of certain things that you should take account of. So towards the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you one practical step that if you can imbibe that practical step, definitely it will actually aid your emotional intelligence. And to start with, before we listen to the commentary that I'm bringing you, because I don't want to take too much of your time, to start with, one of those things that I want to know is that it is not just about you alone. It's about understanding other people around you. Because if it's about you alone, it is even much more easier. But a large number of people, they feel once my conscience is pure, then I don't care about however that person around me feel. You are not correct. When you are talking about emotional intelligence, research has shown that intelligence quotient is not as important as emotional intelligence. A large number of psychologists and renowned renowned people that have studied this concept that we're talking about, they have actually discovered that even if you are the most intelligent individual on the surface of the earth, emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, as some people call it, is much more important than being intelligent. So I won't waste too much of your time. And so when I come back, I'll be sharing a practical concept that if you can imbibe this every morning, there's one thing that I learned from, the course I told you I just enrolled in. There's one thing I learned from that course, and I believe it's going to be of great help to you. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Emotional intelligence skills are abilities that allow you to understand and manage your emotions. These skills are linked to a range of benefits including academic achievement, decision-making abilities, and overall success in life. Some experts have suggested that emotional intelligence, or EQ, might even be more important than IQ. Emotional intelligence includes the ability to recognize, interpret, and regulate your own emotions as well as those of other people. What does it take to be emotionally intelligent? According to psychologist Daniel Goleman, who popularized and wrote extensively about the concept, there are 5 components of emotional intelligence. 1. Self-awareness, or the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions, is a critical emotional intelligence skill. Beyond just recognizing your emotions, however, is being aware of the effect of your actions and emotions on other people. Point 1. Self-aware individuals recognize their own strengths and limitations and are open to new information and experiences, and learn from their interactions with others. Here are a few steps to improve self-awareness. Ask for constructive feedback. Keep a journal. Learn new skills. Meditate. Pay attention to your thoughts and emotions. Pursue your passions. Practice mindfulness. Reflect on your experiences. Set goals. Use positive self-talk. Work on building a growth mindset. 2. Self-regulation. In addition to being aware of your own emotions and the impact you have on others, emotional intelligence requires you to be able to regulate and manage your emotions. Point 1. This doesn't mean putting emotions on lockdown and hiding your true feelings. It simply means waiting for the right time and place to express them. Self-regulation is all about expressing your emotions appropriately. Those who are skilled in self-regulation tend to be flexible and adapt well to change. They are also good at managing conflict and diffusing tense or difficult situations. People with strong self-regulation skills also tend to be high in conscientiousness. Point 3. They are thoughtful about how they influence others, and they take responsibility for their own actions. How to improve self-regulation. Be mindful of your thoughts and feelings. Build distress tolerance skills. Find ways to manage difficult emotions. Look at challenges as opportunities. Practice communication skills. Recognize that you have a choice in how you respond. Use cognitive reframing to change thought patterns and emotional responses. Work on accepting your emotions. 3. Social skills. Being able to interact well with others is another important aspect of emotional intelligence. Point 4. Having strong social skills allows people to build meaningful relationships with other people and develop a stronger understanding of themselves and others. True emotional understanding involves more than just understanding your own emotions and those of others. You also need to be able to put this information to work in your daily interactions and communications. How to improve social skills. Ask open-ended questions. Find icebreakers that will help start conversations. Notice other people's social skills. Practice good eye contact. Practice your social skills. Practice active listening. Show interest in others. Watch your body language. 4. Empathy. Empathy, or the ability to understand how others are feeling, is absolutely critical to emotional intelligence. Point 1, but it involves more than just being able to recognize the emotional states of others. It also involves your responses to people based on this information. When you sense that someone is feeling sad or hopeless, how do you respond? You might treat them with extra care and concern.
Those competent in this area are able to sense who possesses power in different relationships. They also understand how these forces influence feelings and behaviors. Because of this, they can accurately interpret different situations that hinge on such power dynamics. How to build empathy. Be willing to share your own feelings. Engage in a cause such as a community project. Listen to other people. Practice loving-kindness meditation. Talk to new people. Try to imagine yourself in someone else's place. 5. Motivation. Intrinsic motivation is another important emotional intelligence skill. People who are emotionally intelligent are motivated by things beyond external rewards like fame, money, recognition, and acclaim. Instead, they have a passion to fulfill their own inner needs and goals. They seek internal rewards, experience flow from being totally in tune with an activity, and pursue peak experiences. How to improve motivation. Avoid overusing extrinsic rewards. Celebrate your results. Focus on setting small, measurable goals. Introduce challenges to keep things interesting. Set goals to help build intrinsic motivation. Work with a friend or coworker to find accountability. Some key signs and examples of emotional intelligence include an ability to identify and describe what people are feeling, an awareness of personal strengths and limitations, self-confidence and self-acceptance, a strong sense of curiosity, particularly about other people, feelings of empathy and concern for others, showing sensitivity to the feelings of other people, accepting responsibility for mistakes, the ability to manage emotions in difficult situations. A vital set of abilities known as emotional intelligence can aid people in better managing their own emotions, creating lasting bonds with others, and achieving success in both their personal and professional lives. People can improve their overall well-being and experience greater success in all areas of their lives by increasing emotional intelligence through self-reflection, empathy, and self-regulation.
All right. I'm sure what you just listened to is quite explanatory, and you can see that if you're observant, you can see that I was actually trying to pen down certain things in my journal. So I want to believe that a lot of you guys too, you have your journals around, and you've been able to pick one or two things. Personally, I've decided to, I've decided to map out a strategy to, to accommodate a lot of the information that is contained in the documentary. And one thing that I will do is I will watch this video over and over again. But before we call it a wrap on today's edition, let me just share this practical approach that I was talking about with you. There's something that is called money pages. And if you have heard about money pages, you can go online and read about money pages, because we don't really have a lot of time to delve in depth into what money pages is all about. But then I'll just give you an overview of what money pages is all about. We understand that there are certain individuals, or some of us, that we have some emotional, disturbance. We have some stuff bothering us that we feel we don't want to share with people, or because of our makeup, because of the way God has actually configured us. We don't feel free to share some of those stuff with people. Now, money pages will help with is a way of unwinding everything that is bothering you. And what's money pages talking about? When you wake up in the morning, get a book, and what you do is maybe after your morning prayers or what have you, you pick up your notepad. It could be a journal. You pick up your journal and you start penning down certain things. This is not, this is not something that you write out of, preconceived mindset. It's something that you write whatever is coming to your mind, because you don't actually need whatever you are writing. Don't even attempt to read through what you are writing. It might not even make sense, but as it's coming through your mind, just be penning it down each and every morning. And when you do this, it is recommended that you write 3 pages of these write-ups that we're talking about, just trying to unwind what you have in your mind. Don't go back and read whatever you've written. And it's also recommended that once you've written all of those things, the moment your journal is filled up, you can just pick it up and burn it. You don't have to read. It's a way of relieving ourselves of unnecessary pressure and, mind being full of unnecessary jargons and jargons. So one way you can actually unwind and remove all of those stuff is by penning down. Remember, we've been talking about journaling on this channel all this while on this program, on this edition of motivation, solitude, and worship that comes up every Sunday. One of those things that we've been talking about is we're talking about the power of journaling. And you cannot overemphasize what journaling is all about. So one thing I want you to do is you can also imbibe this method. Money pages, go out, go online and read the background of money pages and how best you can do it. And let me advise you, one of the best ways you can achieve that, when you wake up in the morning after your morning prayers, pick up your journal. You can have a soft music on the ground with just maybe musicals alone without words, so that you don't get distracted. Just soft musicals on the ground. Then pick up your pen and begin to write. Write as much as 3 pages as is coming to your mind. You can just keep flowing. At first, it won't be easy for you to keep writing without having to read through what you've written, whether it makes sense or not. But whatever comes to your mind at that early hours of the day, just pen it down. And you will be amazed, at the kind of result that this will actually bring. That's one way you can actually help yourself. And one thing that was said also in that documentary is that you need to embrace empathy. A large number of people believe that I don't care about how you feel. I want to get it done at all costs. I tell you, you are not emotionally intelligent. People that are emotionally intelligent, they find it easy to motivate others. They find it easy to relate with people. They find it easy to make people come up to standard and reason the same way, as them. They are not people that just go ahead and just step on people's toes unnecessarily. They understand people's actions and reactions. So when somebody reacts in a particular way, because they're emotionally intelligent, they understand, where the person is coming from and what the consequence of such action could actually be. So it is not just about you alone. And finally, one thing that was said is motivation. Maybe you didn't pay attention to it, but it's just that time will not permit us to elaborate on most of the concepts that was dealt with. You can watch over again and understand the nitty-gritty and the full concept of this EQ that is being talked about. One thing that was also said is motivation is part of the tool that we use to deduce that this person is emotionally intelligent. And when we talk about motivation, we lay emphasis on intrinsic motivation. And what does intrinsic motivation means? It means being motivated from within. David once said, the Bible was talking about David encouraging himself in the Lord. He was not waiting for somebody to encourage him from outside. He encouraged himself. So intrinsic motivation is quite important. There will be time that we'll be down. We all have our own downtime. But the most important thing is, even as much as you seek motivation from without, from external source, it is also important that you find a way of developing this intrinsic motivation, and to go a long way to help you. Because a time will come that it will be as though nobody is there around you to provide that motivation that you are seeking. But because you have this innermost, power that is divine to be able to motivate yourself at some point, then you see yourself coming out of that emotional trauma that you have found yourself. That will be all for now. I believe you've gotten value from this particular, live broadcast. We'll also come your way again next week. Please don't forget to always come back, because by God's grace, we'll be coming up with life-changing, topics. Personally, I am motivated to go all the way. It doesn't matter what comes my way, but then I have decided that I will go all out. There are times that yes, I'll be, emotionally discouraged. I'll be down and discouraged with setting, but after a while, I pick up myself and off we go. It is not about how many times you have actually fallen. It's not about how many times you have been discouraged. It's how many times you have been able to pick up yourself. And like we said in one of the editions, we said failure is naturally the opposite of success. but then failure is a part of success. And I will close with this. If you ever lose anything, you can lose money, you can lose whatever, you can lose material things, but if you lose anything, don't ever lose your mind, because that is where the issues of life flows out from. Thank you very much, and we'll be calling it a wrap on this night's broadcast. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate all of you guys that have joined in, and I want to believe that next week I'll see you again.